said Friday that the team would not renegotiate the Browns deal because the club does not renegotiate contracts with players who have more than 1 year remaining on deals. Jerome Bettis, the bus in the house. Always good to see you. Thank you for being with us. This is a tough one. Who's more valuable here, Gronk or Brown?
I think both of them are just as valuable to their respective teams. So I don't think there is one better than the other one. For New England, they're a more tight end based team. So Gronk fits, he's their #1 threat. So it makes a lot of sense. And now bringing in Martellus Bennett, that's when Gronk had another tight end opposite of him, that's when he had his biggest year ever. He had 90 receptions, 1,300 yards. He led the league in just about every category from a tight end perspective. And so they want to go back to that, much like the Steelers are a pass-oriented team. As much as it hurts me to say that, they want to throw the football. And Ben Roethlisberger is the best player on that team, so you've got to have a great receiver for that offense to go. Antonio Brown is that guy. So both guys are the #1 guys at their respective positions in the NFL and for their team.
Boss, that's not how it works. You got to choose a side, brother. Come on.
What's your gut? Gronk or Brown right now?
Hey.
Which guy is worth it?
I'll take care of the bus in a minute.
You want me to go?
Whoa,
you want me to go? Okay.
I'll take care of him in a second.
Let me take care of him. I should.
I'm going to get on you.
Look, the answer is Antonio Brown. However, the more I look at it, the less I see it as a definitive answer. My knee-jerk reaction is, come on, man, you can't compare a tight end to Antonio Brown, but this is not just any tight end. First of all, the tight end always has that, a great tight end, always creates that mismatch for the DBs and the linebackers, who can really cover him. You need to devote 2 guys to him and all that. Secondly, you brought up the 2 tight end set. Aaron Hernandez, hate to bring up his name, but they were unstoppable when and now they bring in Bennett, and so maybe they have a kind of similar. Bennett's at least a B+, at least at that position, and so maybe they have the kind of a similar thing going on. Also, you see when Gronk is healthy, the Patriots are an unstoppable super team. When he's not, Belichick and Brady, they're still going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to win a Super Bowl. But when Gronk is healthy, it's like, oh, they're the odds-on favorite. I mean, he has an enormous impact. Then you look at the numbers, you go, look, I play daily fantasy. I know that Antonio Brown's the most valuable guy who's not a this guy's insane. Gronk has the same number of touchdown passes over the catches over the last 2 seasons and more yards per catch than Antonio Brown.
So it is harder.
Stephen A., it is harder to find Gronk production at the position than it is to approximate Antonio Brown production at the position.
You know something? If I had some water right now, I might throw it on you, Max. Hey, you don't start with me. Don't you start with me. Don't you start with me right now.
Good argument.
Let me stop it. Well, it's my turn. Okay. It's my turn. Ooh, this blasphemy. The blasphemy. Enough.
You know he played on the
Steeler.
I see that.
I know he played on the Steelers.
You guys got a chunky ring right there.
He's got an affinity for the Steelers.
Let me tell you something right now. Okay. I just want to just throw this out there. Is anybody aware of the fact that over the last 2 years, Antonio Brown has had 265 catches? Is anybody aware? I'm not finished. It's a rhetorical question. I don't need answers.
136 last year.
Listen, and 129 before. You want me to do math class? But you stop it. Just listen to me right now. Listen to me, because it made me emotional. It's your fault. It's your fault, Jerome.
Okay.
Over the last 3 years, Antonio Brown has had 375 catches. 375 catches, okay? This dude, by the way, he's returned all 3 seasons. He's returned at least 1 punt for a touchdown. So he's a kickoff returner, he's a punt returner, and he's a receiver, catching 375 catches, all right? 375 in 3 seasons. Last year, 1,800+ yards. The year before that, 1,600+ yards. The year before that, 1,404 yards. And we're talking about Rob Gronkowski. Look, I understand Rob Gronkowski, the best tight end in football. I understand that the way he's going is a future Hall of Famer. I understand the two tight end set. The fact that you got Tom Brady, who Bill Belichick has never put an elite offensive line in front of him. This dude needs to get off the ball quicker, which means you're throwing shorter passes, which means that Rob Gronkowski is that much more vital, particularly with the lack of durability on the part of an Edelman or an Amendola, somebody who always ends up concussed. Brandon LaFell is no longer going. He's in Seattle, so that's a non-factor. In the end, what it comes down to, Jerome Bettis, you understand, is that Antonio Brown is on another level because he's multifaceted. Max, he does more than one thing. He plays more than one position. He's utilized much more than Rob Gronkowski. The numbers show that he produces more. Just a numbers game alone.
He's foaming at the mouth. You got to get this guy a shot.
And last but not least, Jerome, you wish they had a running game. It upsets you that they're passing the football. Maybe if dudes could stay healthy or didn't find themselves, you know, I mean, in trouble. Maybe if they were Jerome Bettis and you could rely on them being on the field, maybe there would be more of a running game.
Okay. All right.
You and Max.
I got more. I got right here.
I'm waiting.
More for you.
I'm waiting.
Go
ahead, Max.
I'll let you hit him.
What you are overlooking in all this is the strategic value that any team gets from having something where there's scarcity at the position. Now,
Preach.
what do I mean this?
Preach.
What do I mean by this?
Y'all go ahead.
You look at Odell Beckham Jr.'s numbers as a rookie.
No, it's good.
As a rookie, Odell Beckham, when you look at the totality of his numbers against all different kinds of coverages, the numbers he put up as a rookie were better than Antonio Brown's that year. And since then, you could look at Odell Beckham, you could look at Julio Jones when he's on the field. You could look at guys where you can, even if you want to make the argument, and I will agree with you, because ultimately I also take Antonio Brown. I just think it's much closer than you realize at first blush. You can look at Antonio Brown and say, yeah, he is number one. He puts up the biggest numbers, the eyeball test. He's the top guy. But you can approximate his value with various other receivers. You cannot approximate Rob Gronkowski's value at the position.
Oh, and that's all about Rob. Tom Brady has nothing to do with that.
Well,
Tom Brady has nothing to do with that.
Roethlisberger got nothing to do with it.
Excuse me. Oh, wait a minute. I recall 4 to 5 games last year, Antonio Brown doing exactly what he did with Landry Jones and Michael Vick as a quarterback.
What do you think Gronkowski's going to do with Garoppolo?
A couple games he did not.
Well, listen, a couple of games. Oh,
Stephen A., what do you think? What do you think Gronkowski's
You can't say that. When Michael Vick was in,
yeah, that's true.
Antonio Brown
listen, you can't catch the ball for yourself. I mean, somebody got to throw the ball. He ain't throw the ball. I mean, what do you get? Don't get me started on the game against the Ravens when he threw the 10 feet over his head.
So Max made a point about approximating the receiver, right?
Okay.
The next closest receiver to Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, who tied him in receptions and led him in yards, okay? So this is not an out-of-the-world comparison at the wide receiver position. Now you look at the tight end position, Gronk, number one.
So everyone else like number 10.
But here's the point that I'm making. But here's the point that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
As much as you want to say Antonio Brown is the clear more valuable player, it's really respective to the team. Value is in the team. So you look at Gronk. Gronk, he plays the wide receiver position as well. So he's not just a tight end. Okay, he lines up at the wide receiver. So he is, okay, moving around. He's not just.
That's the same thing Jimmy Graham tried to claim, and it didn't work for him.
Gronk does it. But Gronk does it. It's not even.
I understand that.
So the point that I'm trying to make to you is when we look at Antonio Brown and we look at Gronk, yeah. Who's more valuable? Okay, in which offense?
Because it still affects the win-loss record more than
look, Stephen A.,
and when you look at Gronk and you look at New England, they are perennial playoff team.
Yeah, but if push comes to shove, I will agree with Stephen A. I believe the answer is Antonio Brown. My only point is when it was first asked, I was like, oh, is this even a question? And by the time I was done thinking about it, I said, I'll still take Antonio Brown, but it is damn close. And Gronk is
You have to look at
I don't think,
the values.
Y'all gonna, especially you, and you just move out the way. I'm just done with you.
All I'm saying is,
right now.
I'm not trying to be a homer. All I want to show is that I'm not trying to be a homer.
Hold on. Let me zero in.
When you look at perspective-wise,
I got it.
You can look at
I got it. Pittsburgh Steelers who shouldn't be allowed in the Steelers camp right now. Let me turn to you, Max Kellerman. Are you not the guy that just sat up here on the air? You had the camera look at you the other day and said, "What? What's the problem, Molly? What's the problem, Molly?
Don't use my own words against me."
You trying to side with everybody? Just trying to side with across, man. Side with hold on. Is it not you? Is it not you that called the camera to look at you and say, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever? That was you. Yep. Is it not you that said, and by the way, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach ever? So let me get this straight. You just went on some soliloquy about Rob Gronkowski, and it's damn close, but no mention of the greatest quarterback ever. No mention of the greatest coach ever. No mention of the system that has benefited not just Tom Brady, but Rob Gronkowski, who's a stud, and I get that, and I know how elite he is. When you look at Antonio Brown and 375 catches, 1,400 one year, 1,600 the other year, 1,800 last year, 375 catches, punch returns, kicks returns. What are y'all talking about?
Hold on, time out 1 second.
What?
Time out. Everything is true about Brady and Belichick. You act like Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin are chopped liver.
Yeah.
No.
Ben Roethlisberger going to the Hall of Fame.
No, but you don't hear people talking about Mike Tomlin's system.
True.
You hear that about Belichick.
Tomlin's a great coach.
Stop it. Yeah.
Tomlin's a great coach.
And Ben Roethlisberger is vastly underrated.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think so. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
So what I take away from this conversation is it's Gronk. Jerome, thank you.
No,
I'm kidding.
all I'm saying is that it's closer to even.
I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
Okay.
The media gets on James Harden all the time. But now his former teammate Kevin Durant has his back. We'll react to what KD said. Back to the NBA would first take.
Jerome Bettis ain't coming with us to Pittsburgh. He's not coming.
Something about